This is Spanish 3, Global Challenges, Vocab 141 through 145. I'm going to say the following words in English, then Spanish, and then clap. And after I clap, I'd like you to repeat both the English and the Spanish with me, okay? 141, government, gobierno. Government, gobierno. 142, I flee or I run away, huyo. I flee or I run away, huyo. To flee or to run away, huir. To flee or to run away, huir. 143, scandal, escándalo. Scandal, escándalo. 144, conservative, conservador. Conservative, conservador. And finally, 145, liberal, liberal. Liberal, liberal. All right. How are we going to remember that gobierno is government? Well, I knew a guy who was always complaining about the government. The president should do this, the Congress should do this. He was always complaining. And finally one day I said to him, look, if the government's doing such a bad job, why don't you go be in the government yourself and show them what to do? And he said, no. And I said, what do you mean no? He says, they don't get very much money and everybody complains to and about them. I said, kind of like you're doing right now. So he was always complaining about the government. So I said, why don't you go be in the government and solve their problems? And he said, no. All right. I flee or I run away. Huyo. Listen and repeat. Who wants to run away? I do. Who wants to run away? I do. Like you see a bear charging through the mall or something like that. So huyo is I flee or I run away. Okay? Now, to flee or to run away is huir. Now, huir is to go. When you see the bear, you say to your friend, who thinks it's time to go? Huir. Who thinks it's time to go? So this is a strange verb. It's got a Y in it. It's what I call a Y verb. Huir does this. It turns into oyes and a couple others. We'll talk about that later in the year. All right. Scandal is escándalo. These last three words are really easy. They share a lot of the same letters. Remember, green letters mean they're the same in Spanish and English. But I want you to notice two things. Number one, Spanish people do not like starting a word with a stressed S. We've mentioned that before. Everybody say Stephen. Stephen. They add an E. Now say Esteban. Esteban. We say student. They add an E and say estudiante. Estudiante. So we say scandal, they add an E. If you see a Spanish word that starts with ES, a lot of times if you cover up the E, you'll recognize it. Also notice the accent mark. That accent mark says, hey, don't stress the next to last vowel. Don't say escándalo, stress me, escándalo. An accent mark is a big arrow saying this is the vowel to stress. Now, conservative is conservador. Okay, he's a conservative. He adores conservative ideas, or he adores conservative amendments or proposals. So conservative is conservador. Now, liberal at first blush seems really easy, but be careful. In English, we say liberal, we stress the I. In Spanish, we say liberal. Because remember, what's the last letter of liberal? L. And remember I talked about lizard words? I said if a word ends in L, Z, R, or D, the very last vowel gets stressed. If it ends in L, Z, R, or D, the very last vowel gets stressed. If that confuses you, go back and watch my clip called Lizard. All right. Let's do our post-quiz. I will cover up the Spanish. Please take a few moments, look at the English and say the Spanish equivalents out loud, or even better, look at the English and write the Spanish equivalents down. This has been Spanish 3, Global Challenges, Vocab 141 through 145.